Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to tutorial 3. We are recording and we are talking today about 3 issues. Actually, we are talking about securitization, loan sales, and securitization. This is the 2 issues we are trying to talk about today, which is the loan sales, and then the other issue is the securitization. Now, as I gave an example to the classes before you, the best way to look at securitization and loan sales is to give the following example. If you are now buying something, in other words, if you have a laptop now and you want to sell that laptop and you agree with one of your classmates to say it's a good laptop, say around 4,000, 5,000 ringgits. So you agreed with you meet to conclude that this deal. So you discussed about qualities and all these things, the program sides, maybe the guarantees, whatever. But the most important question will be here to ask is the price. How much you will sell it for me? If you have 4,000, bought it 4,000, 5,000, now you are discussing the price. Now this is one situation. The other situation is if you have 4,000 or 5,000 now, and you are hearing those people who are talking about investments and passive income, all those promotions we see in YouTube, whatever, and you met one of the brokers, either online or personally, and you said, okay, I'm going to invest this for 1 year. So in this case, you have the amount. What you are going to discuss now is not actually how much. You will ask how much you will give me. I know how much I have now, which is the present value. I already know it. But what you are asking is how much you will give me during the 12 months. So in this case, you are talking about payments. Now, loan sales and securitization work like this. Here, it's like you are selling your laptop, which is actually you are asking for the present value. Or you can talk about the price. We have only one formula, which is this formula. This is the whole formula we are actually using, and we can customize it to use it for both purposes. So in this formula, for example, if you look at it, it's actually 2 parts. This is one part, which is the payments, which is the annuities, and this is the amounts at the end. So if you have a loan, for example, and this loan for 3 years, and it will be paid at the end of the 3 years, a bond or a loan. So in this case, you are talking about something like line. So in time 0 here, this line, you are paying something here, say maybe in year 1, something you are paying here in year 1, something you are paying in year 2, in year 3, and then you are paying the last amount, which is here actually. So which is what we call the future value. And this is how loan works. So when I sell you a loan, I sell you the cash flow of it. So this is, for example, a business loan with interest of 8%, and it's for 3 years. They will pay you for 3 years this amount, and at the end they will give you the principal, which means you want to discount the 3 payments here, which is the annuity, and this is actually the amount of the at the end, which is the what we call the face value. Now, and this is how we sell loans. We use present value and we use this formula because we want this one and we want this one. And the one we are looking for is this one. Okay, the payments we know, which is the 800, the coupon payment during the life or the interest payment during the loan. We know the payments. We know how to get its present value. We know the last amount. We know how much we can sell this loan now if we negotiated to sell a loan. We know we already have agreement with our customers. So we know all of these issues. This part, we already know it. The thing that we don't know, we just want to calculate the present value. Now in payments, the case is different. We are actually, the customer is coming with, like I told you, when you want to invest, you know the 5,000 of you is here. The 5,000 is already here, which you want to invest, for example. Okay, maybe the 5,000 is here. It's just you want to know how much they pay you, and you want to, if you say, I'm going to pay you, say, like 600, 500 for the next 12 weeks, 12 months. So we are talking about 6,000. So this, you will put the 500 here, and you want to take the rate and discount it. It's 5,000, but the rate has to be according to the, so this is actually the payment. And this is how we work in securitization. We know the, we know the present value, which is the contribution of the investor. We just want to discount, we want to know how much is the payment. So we calculate the payments, which is the coupon, which the actually investor is interested. Now, when we come to our questions, some of them belongs to this area, and some of them belong to this area. Let's go to question number 1. This is a loan, and I want anybody to talk, please. This is a loan sale. So this is Sarah Wong, which is a credit officer in one of the banks here. She is negotiating sale of loans. So which formula we will use? Is this a loan sale formula? Are we looking for the present value, or are we looking for the payment? She knows she has loans that is 10 loans, 10 homogeneous loan. This 10 homogeneous loan, everyone in 10 million. So she knows it's 100 million. And she knows also it pays 8%, which is 8 million a year. So now we want to sell it. She wants to sell this future cash flow payments, and she wants to know how much the price now. Is that correct? Are you with me? Yes, no? Can you participate, please? Can you say yes, no? So the answer is according to the chat here, which I can see it. I cannot even see the chat. So the chat is saying, yes, sir, okay, clear, no problem. Now let's go to this problem, number 3 and 4. This is what? This is problem number 3, which is this one. Consider this is a problem number 3. Consider 200 million of, this is what we are looking for. We are looking for the payments, right? So it is a securitization problem because the customer is paying 200. Now, the loans is 200, which we made. We are going to receive this money from him, and he wants to know how much we will pay him. So if you look to question number 4 and 5, 3 and 4, actually, we are talking about the payments and the payments. The same thing is happening here. It's actually the difference here. We are talking about tranches and all these things. Now, having said that, let's go to our first problem. Now, this is Sarah Wong, and Sarah Wong, when we sell loans, we sell them, as I said, we sell them, we can sell them, we have 2 options, with recourse or without recourse. This one in our terms, we call it participation, which means participation if somebody defaulting, I sell you the loan. If somebody defaults, then let's talk about it. Maybe I take it all. It depends on the agreement, but usually the seller will take care of anybody who didn't pay, which we call it credit risk. Here, please go and do insurance, and we call it assignment. I give you the loan, and then, or we sell it, or we call it sale with recourse. Okay, now, this is very interesting, but I want to tell you something. All banks today, all banks only sell with assignment. This is how they sell, which means they sell without recourse. They sell without recourse, which means now Sarah Wong here will sell without recourse. So when she come with the proposal, I think this bank is very good bank, because the defaulting is only 50 basis points, which means only 0.5% of the customers we expect them to default. So to see which one we should go, if we sell with recourse, then the customer should pay, the buyer should pay us 97.23, but we are responsible about the credit risk. If we sell without recourse, we will sell it for 98.93, which means now which means I have these only two options. Either I have to credit, and then I will be under the mercy of this customer. He will go and tell me this is defaulting, this is defaulting. I mean, we keep, but we know that our defaulting is only 0.5%. So in this case, she decided to sell with recourse, which is an exceptional thing to do. I told you, bank always sell with recourse, but even according to the numbers, when she is going to give, if she sell with recourse, without recourse, she will compensate the customer. She will give him 8.75% return, while with recourse is 8.5, which is cheaper for the bank. If she sell with without recourse and assume the credit risk, which means she will, this is the 8 million, she is taking now the present value, which is the 8 million. This is the 3 payments of 8 million, which is the coupon, plus this is the 100 million at the end. She calculated to be 98,723. And actually she expects if the, 0.5% of those customers will not pay, it's 9.95. So what she will get is 9,229. So she just agree with the cost, with the buyer, to sell him with recourse. And if there is any problem, come back, and we know that only 0.5% will. And if we want, why we accept Sarah Wang's proposal is because 98.28, this is what she gets here, is actually higher than selling without recourse. Selling without recourse, she will get 98.93 thousand, 98 million, 90.3. But here she will sell it for 92.29, which is 92.29 is higher than this amount. So the thing we should talk from this discussion is, selling without recourse is not always the norm. We can see it depends on how much credit risk we have. This is one issue. And the other issue, we understand now how to calculate without recourse. Any question? Can I proceed? Any question in this stage? Yes, no? Okay. Thank you for the chat. The chat is saying no, which means clear. Okay. Now let's go to the to number 3, securitization. Now, as we said in number 3, Securitization is just a normal thing. You have 200 million. We have 200 million. What are the quarterly payments? I will just use the formula, very easy. I use this one. I compensate this, I do. I know it's 10%, and I know it's quarterly, which means if you look at the M now, the M is 4, and which is here, M is 4. And this one is actually, if you want to calculate it, the N is 30 years. So is actually, this is 30 times 4 quarters, which is actually 120. So 120, I calculate and I find the payment like this. It's very straightforward, nothing. And as I told you, it's a securitization problem, and we are looking, and our concern is the payment. Now, question B here, according to my question B here, as you can see, is saying, what are the interest payments over the first year of the mortgage? What are the principal payments? Okay, so this is actually the question here. To answer this question, which is related to this issue, I have to construct the amortization table. So how do I construct the amortization table? I will just do the, as I said, this is the quarters, this is the 200 million. So I can take all of this all out just to start. This is how we construct the table. This amount, this is the payment, which be all the time here. I know it's all the time will be here. And then I have to calculate, this is the 200 million coming from here. 200 million coming from here, principal. And this is, as I told you, this one coming here. And then I have to calculate the interest. The interest, which is actually 200 million times 10%, which is this 10%, over 5 million. So in this case now, I can, come with, because I know that this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and column 5. So in column 3, I can calculate the interest. Column 4 is just, I take the whole payment minus the interest. This is what is actually paid to the principal for the first quarter. And this is the balance. I take the balance here and I continue. I multiply it by the interest, then I deduct it from this, then I go like this, and then I take the payment, which is this column, which is 1 minus 4, which is the principal, minus what was paid for the principal in this quarter, and this is the balance. So actually, I can build this easy. So I come up to my table. Now the question is saying, what is the total payment? I just add those ones. I just added this number. And it's actually, this is the amount paid for the interest payment. And this is the total payments for the 4 quarters for the principal. So I am done now with question number 3A and B. Now let's go to a little bit difficult question. Not difficult, actually. It has some trenches. See, using this pass-through, because this is a pass-through, this is a normal pass-through problem. Going to this pass-through problem, I said, okay, I will use it. And then the special purpose vehicle, sorry, it's crowded here, but I mean it to make it, the special purpose vehicle now is trying to divide it to tranches, which means now they will make it class 1, class 2, class D. This is what we mean by tranches. And then I will not give 10%, but I will give less for the people who will receive faster. Then I will give this 10%, and this is 11%. And then I want to see how the tranches work, because now there will be one amortization table for each tranche. It's not like the pass-through. Every investor is in the same class. Here, we have different investors. We have different type of investors. So the arrangement is, according to this, the arrangement is tranche A, which is the CMO. CMO work like this. Class A receive the interest, which we call it the coupon, plus principal of the 3 tranches. Okay? So okay, and then this is class A. Name the coupon. Now, what about class B? Only coupon. What about class C? Same. And I have divided to, which means the whole class C will receive only the coupon, only the coupon. Okay. Now, according to this arrangement, means the principles of the 3 tranches, which is the whole payment of the pass-through. All if it is coming, if this arrangement is coming from the pass-through, all the first payments of the pass-through, which is this one, payment to the principal, all of this payment it becomes now to everybody. Now we will only to give it to tranche A. If we know this issue, we are happy. There is only one more thing to do it, which is if there is prepayments. But now let's talk about if there is no prepayments, as we said here. Here we said assume non-amortization assume non-amortization principal and no payment. What are the 3 promised coupons? What are the total promised coupon payments to the 3 promised? So I know if it is coupons, everybody will receive. This guy has 50 million, as you see, and he will receive 9%. And this is 125. And this is have 100 million. Times this one, he will receive this amount, and this will receive this amount. Total of them is 5 million. I'm done with this. The question is, which is the second question, The second question is, and this problem is, which is coming in my tutorial. In my tutorial, assume non-amortization, we have done it. The second question is, if over the first year, what are the principal payments to tranche A for the first year? Which means I have to construct now, I have to construct an amortization table. So this is the this is actually, this is the, what are the interest payments over the first year for tranche A. So tranche A is actually 50 million. I can take all of this away. Just to build this table, I can take all of those things away. Things that I know that I have the interest, which is 1125, I will put it here. I know that it is 50 million. This is I know. And then the payments, I have to bring it from the pass-through. Now the payments of the pass-through, which is this amount. If you bring them here, they are here. This is coming from the pass-through. So this is because the arrangement is all the payments for the pass-through will be going to this guy all the time until we retire him. So if we continue now with this issue and we continue in the table, because now he will receive for the first quarter 272, which is the principal for the 3, plus his interest, which is 1397. Now I can divide, then take this one, which is I can know what is the principal. So the principal of first of the year, 50 million. We paid him 1397, which in which 1125 is actually the interest, and 272 is the principal. So if I know how much the principal, remaining principal, it actually take the balance minus what was paid for the principal, which is 497. Now, what about this payment? The payment is this one plus this one. So if I build the first one, if I build this, which is given, now I can bring this number and bring it here, which is the principal for the first year, and continue. And I can build the table. Now I already built it for you. I just erase it. So this is the table. It's done. This is the this is actually to answer this question, which is what are the principal payments to tranches A for the first year? I can know what is it, which is actually this one. Total of these payments. Which is actually this one. The total payment for the, which is the total payment. Oh, it's already here. I think this is the right number. So this is the principal payments. Okay. And this is the interest payment. I'm done with this question. Now the other thing is, what if, which is the second part of the question, this one, if over the first year the trustee received quarterly payment of 15 million, on the mortgage pool, how the funds distributed. Now, if we receive payments, then in this case, these payments will go to the prepayments or payments will go to the first tranche A until we retire him. And actually we did. If you can see here now, he used to receive here 1,397, which is, if you add the 15 million, it will be 16 million. It will be 16,397,000, which means this also will be 16 million. And we continue with this. So I already done it for you in this table. So it becomes 16,397,000. This is 16,397,000, which means now if I take everything here, I can build the table. So I know the interest is here, which is coming from last time. This is the interest we have, okay? And then we have here 5 million. This is the payment. $272, which is this one, 272. Now, if I add to this 272, 15 million, it will become 15,272,000. So he is actually receiving this amount and this amount, which becomes 16 million. Now it's easy for me now to calculate the last column, which is column 5, which you have to deduct column 1 minus column 4. If you want to consider this as column 1, and this is column 2, and this is column 3, and this is column 4. We understand that column 5 is actually 1 minus 4, and this is coming, which is, this payment is actually column 4 and 3 here. So we are done with this. So I finished the table. Now, the interesting thing is, because of this prepayment, and this is the secret of the CMO, CMO want to absorb, to use this characteristics of prepayments, and to use the prepayments, what you call the appetite among the investors for liquidity. When I say liquidity, which means some of them want to receive as fast as they can, like banks. They want to invest for 3 months, 1 year more. But this security is for 30 years. It's only insurance company, whatever. If you want to bring other investors, then you have to bring those tranches. But they have no problem if you offer them low. Even if you offer them low interest rate, still better than the short term they used to receive. So you are actually decreasing them and increase for the people who is going to be patient. So if you go like this guy actually was supposed to stay 3 years if it is a normal pass-through, 30 years. But now he finished in the first year. Actually, in the third quarter, he's done, and he's have surplus here. This surplus, of course, he will not receive it, and it will go and transfer to tranche B. And we start now building tranche B, taking payments coming from here, taking the payments coming here, and the payments for the pass-through. So therefore, tranche A will retire in quarter 4, first year, and this amount will be transferred to tranche B as prepayment. Okay, any questions? Are you around? Are you happy with what we have done so far? Any questions? Okay. Please tell me yes or no, so I can know. I know you cannot talk instead, on behalf of everyone, but at least, yeah. So now let me go to another question. Now we come to the securitization and the relationship between securitization and and um, securitization and loan sales and the management of the interest rate. So actually there is an issue which is very important, as I told you here. Uh, we want to talk about it, which is using securitization and loan sales as a tool, which is the subject of week 3, as a tool to control the what we call the duration gap. So banks actually not only sell loans, to manage their duration, they sell loans and buy loans to manage that duration. So look at this one. This bank has, this is the asset, they have 20 million. Out of this 20 million, they have 5 million cash, and they have 5 million cash, and they have 20 million. This is what they have, 20 million, which is 5 million cash, and the other one is invested in a loan. Now they know the current duration of this bank is 3.5 years. And they want to jump it up to 5 years. It looks like the interest rate is dropping and they want to increase it because we increase the duration of the assets if the interest rate is decreasing. So the impact on the equity will be positive or less minus at least. So in this case, we calculate first the duration. So the duration is the 5 million, this is the weight of the cash, and the duration of it is 0, plus the weight of the loan, which is 15/20. And we don't know the duration of that loan exactly, but we know the average is 3.5. So I can calculate actually for X, and I find X to be 4.667 years. So it's 4 years and 4.67 of the year. You can calculate how much is that if you, in terms of months, okay? Almost 7 months or something. So now I want to go and increase it to, my main goal is to increase it to buy a loan that will bring me, I want to use this cash to buy a loan that will bring me to 5 years, which is my goal. I want to increase from 3.5 to 5 years. Fine. So what I did is somebody come, random person, random seller, and offer me a loan of 7. And actually I want long-term loans, long durations. I was happy with it, I take it. But when I calculate it, before I buy, if I put it here, with the average of the cash, if they use the cash to buy this loan, 7, and they have this 467, I get 525. It is okay, but it is a little bit higher than what I want. I want exactly 5 years. So what I will do is actually I will do the following. I will just solve for X. I will use this one, 5. This is the weight of the cash. And assuming that I will buy a loan, which is duration of X. And then this is the weight of the assets, which I have 467. And I say this equal to 5 years. I can now calculate how much is this, which gives me exactly 5 years duration. And I calculate it to be 6 years. So decision or recommendation. The bank should buy a loan of 6 years. Okay. Let me now go to the next problem, which is very interesting problem. Now this problem is it's related to this duration. This is why I give you problem 2 before, so you can understand. This group, it looks like the smart young entrepreneurs group, smart. So they started to build this consulting firm. consulting financial firms. They know in finance, they know how to play durations. And they know, I think, they have some expertise to predict the interest rates, the movement of the interest rate. If they know the movement of the interest rates with modeling, and if they know the know-how of how to calculate this duration, which what we are doing in this class. One more thing, see, when you go to banks, the problem with the banks now, they have this huge number of loans and you need to calculate the durations. And you have to take each loan and as we did before, and we have to take the cash flow. So this is 3 years, this is 4 years, and you have to categorize this, put them in categories. This will take long time. And it has to be very accurate. So one of them, which is, I think, both two members of this team, which is, I think, Sonia and Nazirul, have, tapped in some type of platform, which is robo advisor. Robo advisors, if you have seen those, this is a fintech issue. It's like coding. So you enter the data and you make that good coding so they can classify you. This is what they do. They classify the loan of the banks very fast. And they started with the interest. So they know the changes in the interest rate. And they know now the duration of the bank. They already calculated the duration of the bank because this robo-advisor and this coding allowed them to do that. Now they are in position to give a recommendation. Now, I will give you the recommendation, but before I give you a recommendation, I will tell you what they did according to our class. So they recommend to increase the duration. Why? The interest rate is good. Why? Because the interest rate is going down. Look at this. And this we have studied. This is the normal formula which we have knew before. So change in equity is the minus the duration, leverage, duration of liabilities times the assets times change in R over plus of R. Now, if I have a duration here of 5 years, and this is 3 years, and I know my leverage is my liability is 90, my assets is 100, the capital is 10, which means the leverage is 90%, and I know the change in the interest 1%, and I know the total assets. All this information is already known to these groups, so you can calculate the change in equity. So when they calculate, if you calculate according to this example, it's 2.9, which is 2.9 billion, I think. Now, which means now if you decrease this number, you can actually increase this. But here the interest rate is going up. If the interest rate is going down, you need to increase this number. You need to increase this number. And this is what this group is saying. The group should recommend that the bank increase their duration by selling some of share loans. See, this is what the bank have. The robot showed them they have 3 and 4 and 5 years. What is the average duration of those? It's 4.5 years. So actually, if you say, I want to decrease it, which means you sell the 3-year category, you want to increase it, right? So the way to increase it is to sell the 3, and this is what they say, sell the 3 years and 4 years, which means you are going to be left plus 4 plus 5 divided by 2, which is you can increase it to 4.5 years. And then do it. Now, what if the interest rate is increasing? They should recommend the opposite, decrease the duration. Because if you decrease the duration, you can sell the higher loans. Let me explain a little bit more about this issue here. Look, I give you the example here. Assuming this is a bank which they are working in. So the duration of assume the duration of is 3 years of the liabilities. And usually all banks, the averages is 90%, 89%, because the capital always, according to Basel, is 10.5, which means we just assume it here. And this thing is not actually required an exam or whatever. I'm just explaining to you. So you just say, I have to say decrease or increase. Why? Because of this, but nobody is asking an explanation. See, this is just to explain for you. So if liability is 90s and the asset 100 and the interest rate, which you know it, is 10, and the change in interest rate, as the group already know, is 1%, which is minus, and then they can calculate. They know that the duration, is 4. The duration now is 4 for this bank, according to this calculation. They know the duration is already 4. Excuse me, this is 4 years. If they want to increase it, they can sell this one. It's 4.5 years. So they know the duration is 4 years. So if you calculate according to the 4 years, this bank is losing currently, if there is a change and the interest rate, which is minus, they are losing 1.88. Now, if they recommend just selling the class of 3, they can increase the duration to 4. They can increase the duration to 4.5. Now, if they increase the duration to 4.5, then in this case, you just apply this again. Instead of 3 years, 4 years, see, they drop actually to 1.1, the losses. They can still sell the 4. They can also ask the bank to buy higher duration loans and sell all the low duration loans. So this action allowed them, if this is true, if the numbers are okay. So this is the decrease, the expected decrease. If this interest happened, assuming that the bank has 100 billion assets and all this dialogue is right. So end of the day, this is what we say. If the interest rate is going down, it's better to increase the duration. How do you increase the duration? By selling lower loans. I will give you this one. Assuming this is the bank which we are talking about. This is what they have, right? 4 years. Now, if you sell the 3 years loan, you will live 4 plus 5. You will left with 4 plus 5 divided by 2, which actually 4.5, which is actually coming to this logic. It's a rule. If you sell 3 years, if you have a bank that has 4 years, and you sell any loans that less than the average duration of the bank, you will increase the average duration after the sale. Come to the opposite. If you sell any loan that is higher than the duration of the bank, you will decrease the duration, the average duration. Here, if I sell the 5 years, I will be left with the 3 years plus the 4 years, which is divided by 2. This becomes 3.5. Which is actually decreasing the loans from 4 to 3.5 when we sell the 5. So it's a rule of thumb. If you sell loans less than the average duration of the bank, you increase the average duration after the sale. If you sell loans that is higher than the duration of the bank, then you will increase the duration after the sales. Then you will decrease the duration after the sale. This is what will happen when we sell the 5 years. So this is about it. I think I'll just go over, there is one more question, which is the prepayments. What factors affect prepayments probability. The probability they are affected by the expectations. This is when we talk about the CMO. It is because of the expectations. Homeowners' expectation of the interest rate. If they expect that the interest rates will go down, better for them to take new loans with a new rate. If they move from one city to one city, one state to the one state, so they want to settle this loan and go to another loan and take another loan from the bank in their state or in their next city. So this will make them settle now and pay. And this depends on also on how they know. If they know things and if they are aware of the movement of the interest rate and the impact of that movement of the interest rate on their net worth, specifically in their loans and their home loans, then in this case, there will be, sometimes you talk about 1 million, 2 million loans. So you have to be aware how much you are paying. So if you have that awareness, you may decide to settle. And sometimes banks compete. So one bank, there is no change in the interest rate, but some banks started to compete and decrease the interest rate. So those customers of the other bank will say, well, my bank now is offering 3% or 2% plus, while I'm taking a loan from CIMB, which means 2% plus the basic lending rate, while I'm taking from CIMB for 4% more or 5% more. I'll go settle with CIMB and go to my bank, or the opposite. Okay, so this is what we call the structure of the financial service industry, competition among banks. And the structure of the mortgage. If the mortgage is actually completely floating, there is nothing fixed on it, there is no problem. But if it is fixed, which means I pay high last time, and then the interest rate drops and they don't change it, then I'm losing, which means there was a drop in the interest rates and I'm still paying that fixed, which was the original rate, which is high. So better I go and drop it. And sometimes, as I told you, the covenants. Covenants means this is the agreements. This is actually the agreements of the loan. Now, some agreements of the loans in terms of foreclosures, in terms of payments, in terms of lien payments, some of them are soft. Some of them are tough. And banks do it tough when they have good business. When the business is going down, they started, to be nice to the customers, whatever. So if you take your loan during the tough times, I mean the high demand times, and there was strong agreements, very hard, terms and conditions, maybe you decide to say, okay, now there is not much demand. I can retire that old loan with that strict rules and strict contract and go with this soft contract. So this is around 6 points why payments happening, the probability of payments. I think I have forget this one, which is this is for the after we finish this, there is another B, which called if the mortgage-backed security insurance is 6%. And in the mortgage-backed security, like this one, problem number 3, when we calculate this, we take 10%, right? And this 10% is supposed to go to the investor. Actually, in life, this is not true. Because the special purpose vehicle, they pass the loans to the special purpose vehicle, they don't work free. They take some type of fee. And they take this some type of fee from the customer. So from the investor. So the customer, which is the house owner, will pay 10%. They will take their fee, and the rest goes to the investor. And the investor know that rate is incorporated in calculating the payments. So having known that, if in this case, if the annual yield is 10%, say, well, if the mortgage-backed security insurance fee is 6 basis points, and the servicing fee is 40 basis points, 44 basis points, What is the yield on the pass-through? So what I do is I calculate 10 minus actually those two, and I find that 9.5. Now, what is the monthly? So I have to divide this by 12 months, and it is 7.9167%. This is one question, which is just, we are not calculating it quarterly, but monthly here. Another question is, what is the monthly payment on the pass-through security based on this new rate? Monthly, because I calculate this, remember, I calculate this according to quarterly. This is quarterly, okay? And according to 10%. Now, I want to calculate it according to 10%, okay? Now, I want to calculate this excuse me. I want to calculate this according to monthly after I get so I will do, but now this one will be actually the MN here will be 360. Hopefully it will work. No, it will not work. Just to make it here, it's 360 here. So this is 360. So this is actually one plus okay, this is how it looks here. And this is actually, so I find that to be 168, 1,681,714. This is how we calculate it. And then the last question is, what is the first monthly servicing fee? We understand it's 44 basis point divided by 12. We find it this. So we multiply it by the 2 million and you find it to be 73,033. So I am done in this tutorial. Any questions? Any questions? You still there?
No questions, sir.
Thank you very much. This recording will be uploaded. So if there is no questions or no discussions, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.